Good morning. We are going to go ahead and get started with the calendar and the weather. Then today we are going to talk about social studies. For social studies this week, we will be learning about monuments, which we started a little bit last week. And then we are going to read a book. And with what little time we have left, we're going to review some of our sight words. How many days are in a week? That's right. There are 7 days. There are 7 days. There are 7 days in a week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And yesterday was Monday. So what day of the week is today? Today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. All day long. All day long. Yesterday was Monday. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. All day long. All day long. And yesterday, the number day was the 6th. So what number day is today? If yesterday was the 6th, what number day is today? Let's count and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Today's the 7th. What month is it? The month is April. Let's say April 3 times. April, April, April. The month is April. So now we're ready to say the entire date, starting with the day of the week. Today is Tuesday, April 7th, 2020. Great job. Now after we do calendar, then we do the weather. What's the weather? What's the weather? What's the weather like today? Is it sunny? Is it rainy? Can we go outside and play? Go look at the window. What does it look like outside today? It looks sunny. And has anybody gone outside today? What did it feel like outside? It felt a little bit cool. So we're going to put sunny and cool. And now we're ready to read our weather board. The season is spring. Today's weather is sunny and cool. Great job. Now it's time to do social studies. So I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, now you should be able to see my screen. What do you notice on the picture? It should look a little familiar to you. It's a picture of the Lincoln Memorial, which we learned about a little bit last week in our book. And it goes to Washington, D.C. The Lincoln Memorial was built in honor of Abraham Lincoln. He was the 16th president, and he helped end slavery. Where is the Lincoln Memorial found? What city? That's right, Washington, D.C. And Washington, D.C. is important because it is our nation's capital. So it is the capital city of our country, the United States of America. Now we're going to look at some more monuments. It says American monuments. Many monuments are built to honor people. Monuments can be statues, buildings, or other things. Now I want you to look at the pictures you see here. You might see some buildings. You might see some faces. And you might see a statue. This house up here is called the White House. The White House is the president's home. It is in Washington, D.C. There are many monuments in Washington, D.C. This little tiny red dot is where Washington, D.C. is. Down here is Florida, where we are. Is Washington, D.C. higher than or north of Florida? Or is it lower than or south of Florida? That's right, Washington, D.C. is north of Florida. Now you see another house down here. The White House was not finished when George Washington was president. Remember, George Washington was our first president. So instead, George Washington lived in his home that's called Mount Vernon. So George Washington lived in Mount Vernon, not in the White House. Now we're going to look at this statue of the faces. Mount Rushmore is in South Dakota. 4 presidents are on Mount Rushmore: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. This red square right here is where South Dakota is. Mount Rushmore is in South Dakota. And Florida's down here. Is South Dakota north or higher than Florida, or south or lower than Florida? You're right, South Dakota is north of Florida. Now we're going to look at the statue over here. This statue was built in honor of Juan Ponce de Leon. Juan Ponce de Leon was a Spanish explorer who came to Florida about 500 years ago. This statue of Ponce de Leon can be found in St. Augustine, Florida. So this statue was built in honor of a Spanish explorer. We're going to stop there for now for social studies, but throughout the week, we'll continue talking about different monuments. Now we're going to move on to English language arts. For English language arts today, we are going to read a story. I have a book, I have a book, I have a book, I have a book. And my book has a front cover, and my book has a back cover. And my book even has a spine. And I know the spine holds the pages together. And I have a spine. And my spine helps me sit and stand up straight and tall. And my book even has a title. I remember that a title is the name of the book. Let's count how many words are in our title. Remember, a word is a group of letters separated by a space. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want you to look closely at the title and see if you recognize any words. Do you recognize any words in the title? Yes, you see the word the. This title is called Bringing Down the Moon. What do you see in the picture on the cover? You might see a moon. You might see stars. You might see the grassy little hill. And you might see an animal with a stick. Based on what you see here, do you think the book takes place at nighttime or during the day? Based on the moon and the stars, you probably said nighttime. What you just did was make a prediction. A prediction is a guess about what will happen based on pictures and what you've read so far. Good readers always make predictions as they read. Now we're going to go ahead and get started. Bringing down the moon. What page is this? The table of contents. Good job. The table of contents tells us where different sections of the book, what pages different sections of the book can be found on. So we're trying to read Bringing Down the Moon. What page do we need to go to? Page 4. And this is the title page. Hot diggity, exclaimed Mole as he burrowed out of the ground one night. Whatever's that? The moon was hanging in the sky above him like a bright silver coin. Mole thought it was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. Whatever it is, I must have it, Mole said to himself. I know, I'll jump up and pull it down. Thump, thump, thumpity bump. Mole was so busy jumping, he did not think about the noise he was making, and he woke Rabbit up from the burrow. Mole, said Rabbit, what on earth do you think you're doing? Hello, Rabbit, said Mole. I'm trying to pull down that shiny thing. You mean the moon? Asked Rabbit. So that's what it's called, said Mole. You'll never do that, said Rabbit. It's not as close as it looks. But Mole would not give up. I know, he thought. I'll get a stick and poke it down. He found a long stick and poked up at the moon. Swish, swish, swishity swish. Mole was so busy poking that he tripped over Hedgehog in his bed of leaves. Mole, grunted Hedgehog, what are you up to? Hello, Hedgehog, said Mole. I'm trying to poke down the moon. You'll never do that, said Hedgehog. It's not as close as it looks. But Mole would not give up. I know, he thought. I'll throw something at it and knock it down. He found some acorns and threw them at the moon. Plink, plink, plinkety, plink. Ouch, said Squirrel. Mole, have you gone nuts? Hello, Squirrel, said Mole. I'm trying to knock down the moon. You'll never do that. It's not as close as it looks, said Squirrel. But Mole wanted the moon so badly. He would not give up. Do you guys think that Mole is going to be able to get down the moon? I know, he thought. I'll climb a tree and carry it down. Mole had never climbed a tree before. It was hard work, and he was scared to be so far from the ground. But he kept on going until he saw the moon resting in the leaves above him. Mole just stretched out his paws. But just when he thought he had the moon, he slipped. Ooh! Eek! Ouch! Oh! Mole tumbled down and landed splash in the middle of a puddle. Hot diggity drat, thought Mole. I almost had it that time. Then he noticed something floating in the puddle beside him. It was pale and wrinkled, but Mole recognized it at once. What do you see in the puddle? The moon, whispered Mole. It must have fallen down with me. He reached out to pick up the moon, but as soon as he touched it, it broke into pieces and vanished. Mole sat in the puddle and cried. Rabbit, Hedgehog, and Squirrel came running up. Are you all right, Mole? Asked Rabbit. I'm all right, sobbed Mole. But the moon isn't. I pulled it down, and then I broke it, and it was so beautiful. And now I'll never see it again. Oh, Mole, said Rabbit, you couldn't have pulled down the moon, and you couldn't have broken it, said Hedgehog. And you'll certainly see it again, said Squirrel. Look! High up in the sky above them, the moon was coming out from behind a cloud. Oh, whispered Mole, and it's just as beautiful as ever. Mole, Rabbit, Hedgehog, and Squirrel stood and stared up at the moon together. It is beautiful, said Rabbit. Very beautiful, said Hedgehog. Very beautiful indeed, said Squirrel. Yes, said Mole, but it is not as close as it looks. All right, so now we're going to talk about what happened in the story. What was Mole trying to do? He was trying to get the moon. Was he able to get it down? Why not? That's right, because it is not as close as it looks. It's super far away. Later in the week, we're going to talk a little bit more about the story. But for now, we're going to review some sight words. All right, so now you should see my screen. We're going to go through some of our sight words. If you see a sight word, excuse me, if you see a sight word that you don't remember or don't recognize, please write it down. What word is this? A. This word is A. What word is this? Boy. This word is boy. This word is girl. This word is I. This word is like, like. If you don't remember it, write it down. L-I-K-E, like. This word is the. It was in the title of our book, the, T-H-E. This word is see, S-E-E, see. If you don't remember it, please write it down. This word is I-S, is. Am, A-M, am. If you don't remember it, please write it down. Am. This word is to, T-O, to. This word is we, W-E, we. This word is me, M-E, me. This word is it, it, I-T, it. This word is and. And. A-N-D. And. This word is of. O-F. Of. O-F. And this is the last one we're going to do today. This word is was. W-A-S. Was. W-A-S. Was. When you're all done writing down the words that you didn't recognize or didn't know right away, I want you to read through them. For example, I wrote down am, me, and. Great work, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, have a good afternoon.